So we didn't talk about Apple. I'd say the other company we didn't really talk about because we're so focused on the United States is when you look outside the United States, you really have to look to China because I would say the acceleration and velocity of AI in China is off the charts. We've talked a lot over the last few weeks about DeepSeek clearly coming out of left field, very efficiently building a frontier quality open source model. But most people have kind of quietly ignored probably the company that's the leader in AI in China, and that's ByteDance. Their AI, their ChatGPT equivalent is #1 in China, right? And they've been using AI to drive TikTok globally for a very long period of time. So I know you have strong opinions on this. It seems to me the US has underestimated China at AI. And now we're at this inflection point where I think there are a lot of people who say, well, they must be smuggling GPUs into China or this or that. But the reality is China is going to have frontier AI, and almost all the things we do to try to slow them down and stop them are backfiring on the United States.
I couldn't agree more. I witnessed almost daily people that are either in government or even friends of ours who say we have to win the AI war with China.
Right.
And I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I can't imagine an end state where we control all the AI and they don't have any.
Right.
Like, it's already too late.
It's too late.
And they're smart as possibly can be. Yeah. And they're innovating, and you look at all the other products that they're crushing it in. I just don't understand. Like, I think,
and the reality is that we just need to focus on running our fastest race. We need the Teslas, we need the OpenAIs, we need rockets that land themselves, we need all of this. But to think that they're not going to have BYD building great cars, or they're not going to have, DeepSeek building great models, or they're not going to have rocket companies that copy us and can land themselves, like that would be naive.
It's remarkably naive.
Yeah.
And like it's going to lead to people making decisions, like you said, that either slow us down ourselves. A lot of the AI regulation would definitely do that. Or just provoke them in ways that isn't helpful, and it's not going to slow them down.
Well, let me give you one example of this, and then I want to move on talking about the arms race, if you will. But during the Biden administration, they passed something called a diffusion rule out of the Commerce Department, which we've mentioned on this pod before, which created this convoluted set of rules by which U.S. semiconductor companies could export outside the United States. Now, this wasn't exporting to China. We already have export restrictions with respect to China, but it basically made all these tiers and classifications on how much you could distribute. Did you have to distribute it through a hyperscaler or not? And the whole idea was to somehow prevent these chips from getting to China. But what it really does is it causes us to have to compete globally with Huawei with one hand tied behind our back. And it almost guarantees a Huawei level Belt and Road initiative around the world. And the world's going to run on Huawei AI chips, which gives them then the demand that they need to build a frontier AI chip. And so again, well-intentioned perhaps by the Biden administration, but totally backfires. And hopefully Howard Lutnick and this administration will
I don't know.
We'll throw that out and start
I think there are a remarkable amount of people in Washington on both sides of the aisle that have a perspective about China that they use words, enemy, threat, have to win the AI war. Yeah. And those terms are so loaded. And but I think they can achieve something. Yeah. And if I owned NVIDIA, my number one concern would be excessive regulation coming out of Washington. Yeah.